So let's jump on to today's topic about buying a property here in Sweden. Thank you for the thumbs up. Wow, already got thumbs up, not bad, huh? So I want to do this live streaming because I recently found out that there are a lot of people planning to move to Sweden. In fact, I just met two couples who moved to Sweden because they have saw my channel and they thought that Sweden is the perfect place for them if they want to just chill out a different kind of more relaxed lifestyle. Sweden is seems to be the perfect place to move. And I also found out a lot of YouTuber. They went around from south of Sweden up to north of Sweden to find houses that they could buy very cheaply. And sometimes you could get as cheap as 7,000 US dollar. Believe me or not, it is possible. But before you go on and buy that house, I want to help you to make a more informed decision, like why you should watch this video before you invest into a property. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but it is really up to you, depending on your needs. So I think it is very important before you even jump into the conclusion of buying a property. I think there are a lot of factors you should look into before you buy one, okay? And I think it is very important that you look into the area, and then maybe, it might not be the perfect lifestyle, or maybe not the kind of money you were thinking, how cheap, whether is it cheap or not, you never know. So I used to work as a property agent before in Singapore, so I have a different way of looking at the Swedish property here. I find that people should be aware of a lot of factors. Let's start off with the first factor. Before you buy a property, make sure you check the location. This is very important because if you buy a summer house, Swedish people like to live in summer house during the summer because they want to live near the water. And the type of property that you buy is really depending on your capability, whether you have a car, you don't have a car. I've seen YouTuber, they bought a house in the middle of nowhere off grid, and then they don't have a car, or even if they have like driving license for 1 year, then you have to retake your license. So you have to check that because in Sweden, if you're living off grid, you must have a car. If you don't have a car, it's going to be terrible. I know there's one girl from UK. I think her name is Rose or something like that. She bought a house that is in the middle of nowhere, and she only have a bicycle. So, and the road is like not a proper path. So she has to cycle, or she has to pull this sledge to go shopping. And the shop or the supermarket is not even nearby. So these are the things that you need to think about. Make sure you check the location. If you are looking for a summer house, then you probably want to find somewhere near the water. But there are also disadvantage and advantage staying near the water. The closer you stay nearer to the water, like our place here, I'm going to show you later how it looks like. It's really near the water. But nowadays, if you want to buy property that are closer to the water, there are chances that the price is much, much higher. Because nowadays, the government tries to stop people from building a summer house that is closer to the water. So I would suggest that you check that out locally and see, if you really need to have for water, then you must be prepared to pay for a higher price. And also, like I said, when you stay in a city or in a flat, I don't think so you want to move here in the flat if you are moving to Sweden, because staying in a flat, unless you are a retired person and you don't have the ability to shovel snow to take care of a big garden, then you might want to consider living in the city. But I think you guys are here because you want to see what are your options, right? So I don't think so I would recommend you staying in an apartment, because like here in Skellefteå, the apartment is very expensive. You can like pay 100,000 or more at least for a small apartment. So for me, I will not want to do that unless I have no choice. Unless I'm like 70, I want to like get away from all these house chores, which is not that easy to maintain. If you are somebody like me who are from Singapore, we are not used to mowing the garden. We're not used to like painting the whole house. Even some Swedish people, they are really good in painting the whole house. So sometimes it also depends on the kind of weather. Like this year we have a lot of rain, so a lot of people want to paint the house, but they couldn't do that. So yeah, these are the things that you need to consider. Road access, how far is it from the supermarket, and whether or not you have if you need help in your health. So I think that is very, very important. And also climate. Number two is the climate. Winter is extremely high, extremely challenging, because if you cannot shovel, if you cannot remove snow, it can be tough. And winter can start as early as October, and then it can come up all the way to May, end of May even. So our long winter is very cold, very dark. So if you are the kind of person who stay in a city and you're used to, meeting people, I think Sweden can be something that you really need to reconsider, because some people, because of the darkness, they get depressed. And that is not so good, right? So you want to make sure that it is somewhere that caters to your need. All right. So I think winter is have to be really, I say that Sweden, if you stay in a villa, it is not for beginner, especially if you buy a summer house, because there are a lot of things to think about when you buy a summer house. I will go through later around the property and show you what I mean. All right. So right now, I'm just going to cover like the basics, things that you have to think: the location, the climate, the property condition, the finance, the infrastructure, usage of the house, the community, like the future, whether is it a good investment or not. Some people, they buy it, but they cannot take care of it. They buy it, they want to rent it, but there was no profit. So these are things that you have to really reconsider, like privacy, the culture, the language. So all these are very, very important factor. So I'm going to make this live streaming as short as possible, give you guys the kind of fact that you should know. And if you really still want to buy the property in Sweden, I'm going to do another live streaming to tell you guys, step by step what you should do, how to hunt for the budget kind of property, and also the process of bidding it, and also the finance, talking to the bank, getting the house check out before you buy them. Okay, so number three is the property condition. I saw a lot of YouTubers, they bought houses that are really, really cheap, and of course you cannot expect that kind of condition in a tip-top condition. Some houses, they are rotten. So you have to really get help, professional help, to inspect the house first. What do you mean by inspecting? Because houses, let me just give you an example. All right, look at this roof here. I'm just going to show you guys the roof. If I can flip the camera, you see this spot there? Can you see those spots there? These are the spots. All right, This ceiling is very low. You see, I'm just 1.52 and I could almost reach the ceiling. You see those bad patches there? I think it is some leakage from the roof. It might be wet, and then the rainwater get into through the ceiling, and that is why it's causing these patches. So these patches need to be inspected. So for me, I think it is very important that you know, when you check a house, when you go for inspection, if you see things like that, you want to make sure that you have that checkout. And the way to do it is to call the local inspector. They have a special, they call it an anti-CMAC. They will come here and they will check from top to bottom. They will check the piping system. They will check the sewage. They will check the foundation. If there is like a Siri is running up and down here. I don't know what she's looking for. They will check the foundation and see if there's any area where you have a rotten wood, because some rotten wood, it may be manifest or infest by insect or ants. So that kind of house, you don't want to buy that. It's going to cost you a lot of money because you really need a very good foundation. The reason why I say that it is because Sweden is a very wet country because of the snow. When the snow, the water all go down to the earth, right? So the bottom is really wet. So if you don't have a good foundation, you will end up paying a lot of money. Maybe you have to demolish a whole flat and rebuild the foundation again. So I think this is something that you want to avoid. Yeah. So I think when you buy a house, you are interested in the house. If you manage to bid for the house and you get the bid from the house, you can always talk to the agent and sign maybe a pre-contract. Like, if I'm going to check this house, I'm going to hire somebody to come and inspect the house. If something is not, it is supposed to be, so you have the chance to back out from that bid or from that sales. So I think it's really good. I mean, the price for inspection is not expensive, it is affordable. So I don't see there's any reason why you shouldn't do that. Yeah. Because I saw a lot of YouTubers, they bought those houses, they have rotten, pillar and the ground, they dig out, they pull out the floor, and then everything was like ruined. That's the reason why they want to cover the floor so you don't know, right? So I think these are things that nobody really talk about, but I think you should know. When the inspector come, they will check everything, making sure that your house are safe to live in. Because some house can be like this, it can be mold. So mold is really really bad for your health, and you can get really sick if you don't look into that area, and you cannot live in a molded house because you will be sick for sure. Also, there are also certain kind of restriction for foreign buyers. So make sure you check certain country. There are certain restriction. So I think it is better you check that out on the internet on your country. Like, are you allowed to buy property in Sweden before you even look into the possibility? All right, and also financing also. Some people think that it's cheap, the house, compared to my country. I can pay everything by cash. And I would say that if you don't have a job here, and if you are not financially well off, what it's very difficult for you to get a mortgage, because first of all, they want to have a work permit that you are employed here. They want to make sure you can pay the mortgage. So also check with the bank and talk to them and have a better understanding what are their requirements in order for you to get a mortgage. The mortgage interest rate is between 3.85 to 4.62 interest rate. It's quite high, but there are also options where you could tie down the rates. So that again, I am going to touch on my next live streaming if you are interested. And also there are also a lot of things like you should think about, like the infrastructure, like the electricity, how much does it cost, the water, the internet, the rubbish. You have to pay all this, you know, and also the license, you know, like oh Siri, what is wrong with you? She's running around the house. And then you see I have a fireplace here, and all the fireplace you need to inspect them. If you use the fireplace, you must inspect them once, at least once in 2-3 years. It costs around 400-500. It's not that expensive. 500 kroner, about 40-50 US dollar for inspection. And I think this is worth it. Don't do it yourself, because you know, get a professional to help you, and I think it is good. So this fireplace we use quite often, so LG has to service it all the time, like every 2 years. So I think that is also things to consider. And also some people, they buy the house, they were thinking, okay, I'm going to stay here during the summer, and during the winter can I rent it out? If it's a private property, you can rent it out as and when, how you want. But it is, if it's a apartment, that is apartment that are owned by the association, you have to seek permission. And some you could rent them for 1 month, no, 1 year, 2 years max, and then after that they won't allow. And if your rental is too high, they will not allow either. So in terms of profit wise, I don't say you can earn so much on renting out your property unless you have a really big house with a lot of room where there are demand for company that going to rent from your to rent your place. Like our place, we are very near the factory, the world biggest battery factories that make a battery for cars. So they were like employing people. We have like 180 180 different people from all over the world come here to work. So for our place, it's like always booked all the time. So in terms of rental, you also have to consider not just the profit, you also have to pay tax to the government, and the tax is between 25 to 30%. So this is something that you have to think, right? And if you're not around here, you might need to hire a company that can manage your property for you, which means to say they will come on a frequent basis to like clean the place up once a week or twice a month. So I think you have to maintain it, because if you're just going to rent out the place and you're not looking after and you're not coming back to see how it is, the place is going to be ruined. I've seen a lot of properties, people are investing in rental. Their property has been really ruined by the workers. So for us, we don't mind coming back to our property and clean that place and, you know, talk to them so that they will help us to maintain our property. So these are really fundamental that you want to think it is a good investment or not. Whether or not, you know, you can just leave your whole home like this and then go back to your country during the winter, because you cannot just turn off everything. All right, this is a lot of people, they don't talk about that. You cannot off the water, you cannot turn off the water, you cannot turn off the heater, because if you turn off the heater, the house is going to be really cold and the pipe is going to be frozen, and by the time you come back, all the pipe is expanded and you have breakage, and your whole house is going to be ruined. And you must maintain the house warm also during the winter while you are not here, because if you don't, the house also have problem, because it means that there will be mold, there will be the pipe, if different kind of element, if the pipe is a water pipe, then the pipe will be frozen. So you see, these are things that you need to know, okay? And also, like the environment is also very important to think about, because certain area you buy, if you are closer to a natural like a reserve area, that the government don't want you to do anything. So when you buy a property, it doesn't mean that the land next to our property is available for you to buy, because sometimes the government want to hold it for some reason. Like for LG case, he has a summer house and there is a land just beside. He was thinking about buying that land. Then he have to seek permission to buy it, because he was thinking, if I don't buy that land, if the government going to sell it to some developer, then maybe they will build house, or maybe they will sell the land at a very good price, and you never know who is beside staying you, right? So this is like a headache. And also resale value. I would say, depending on where you are staying, if you are staying in a place like here in Skellefteå, because here our demand for property is extremely high, because for the whole of Sweden, Skellefteå is the most sorted property area, because of the battery factories. There are lots of houses, but a lot of them rented out to company, and they get a good income. I'm just gonna say hi, Tommy and JND. Hello, hi. So nice that you came into my live streaming. So I think, like I said, the investment, the return is extremely high here in Skellefteå, because our demand is so high. If you go into Facebook and check on Skellefteå property, there isn't any. Even there is some, it's gonna cost quite a lot of money. And most of the people here, they prefer to rent it out to people who are working here and on a contract basis. Skellefteå. No, it's not Sollefteå. It's Skellefteå. Skellefteå sounds like Skellefteå. Skellefteå is just beside Piteå on the north and Umeå in the south. So we are in the center. Skellefteå spelled as Skellefteå. On the coast. Yes, Tommy, it's on the coast. So really, it's like, investment wise, I think this is the best place if you want to invest, because it's the opportunity is very limited. When you see a house, everybody is grabbing the same house, because it's either they are buying it for investment or they are buying it for long-term stay. So for you to find a property here, it's really, really tough and very competitive. And also, I think when you buy a property, a lot of people, they will think about, oh, okay, I want to buy a summer house, for example. I want to have somewhere that is near to the sauna, or has a sauna, has bathtub. And all these are the amenities that you could think about, but they don't come free, all right? When you buy a property, all these expenses are being added on. Is it Skellefteå? Yes, it is Skellefteå. Jandy, how are you? Yeah, like I'm gonna show you, all right, how it looks like, so you can have a better picture on how this feels like. And also, like when you buy a property, you want to make sure that you have good neighbors. Usually neighbors are really sweet here, but we do have neighbors that are not so nice neighbors. I remember my neighbor went to say hello to a new neighbor that just moved and bought a house here, and she thought that it was only courtesy to just say hello, welcome to this neighborhood, right? So instead of welcoming her, she told my neighbor, said, I bought this house is not to entertain my neighbors. So just back off. So she was really rude, and I don't know. I don't really see many people do that, but still there are people who does that. They're always not good people around. Of course, we are living in this world, so you tends to see people like that. If you have any question, ask me. I'm just going to just show you, because this summer house is very small, and the cottage size is if I'm not wrong, if you buy a cottage, you will see that there are small houses always around the main property. This is the main property. Let me just see if there's any questions. What price rent per square meter? Okay, Tommy, you're asking. I bet you are from Finland. Yeah, you cannot please everybody. Yeah, it's true. We don't calculate by per meter, because the property that I owned, me and LG own, we have a 3-story house, and currently we are renting on the second and the third floor. There are 4 bedrooms and there are 6 beds. So for us, to rent out the 6 bed, or we take about the average. Let's say we rent to 4 person. So it costs around 2,000 Swedish krona per night. And if I am not wrong, the property together, it's about 150 square meter for the second and the third floor. So you do the math, okay? This is why I say it is a very good investment if you want to think about maybe buy a property here and then rent it out to get a good income. But you still need somebody to help you to manage it. So let me just show you how this property look like. Okay, I'm just going to higher this a little bit, and I'm going to flip the camera, and I'm going to show you. This is how close we are to the water. It's about, I don't know, maybe 22 meters from our hotel to the water. Is very close. And over here, this is how this cottage look like. This is a 25 square meter. I don't think so it's 25. If I'm not wrong, it's 50, right? I think it's 50. So it's not really very big. So this is just the living room. And we have a kitchen, a small kitchen that enable me to cook. So it's a really small one. So me and LG, we just cook when we are together cooking. It can be a bit tight here. So the living room and the dining room and the kitchen, and we also have another small bedroom here, which is very small, just a double bed. Okay, now I'm just going to give you a guideline how this is like. You see the small houses here? This is called Otterfallshus. These are the houses that are very, very popular nowadays. People like to buy them because they are either they are already built like it is, so the company will send the house to your place. So all you need to do is to pay them the transport fee, and then they will transport the house, and but you have to build the foundation first. So they will give you idea how you should build the foundation. And this house, like I show you just now, which is about 50 square meter, plus this one, this is just 25 square meter. It's not a big house, but if you're going to use it for like a guest house, I think that is enough. It has a bedroom, a kitchen, and a toilet. So you can have like a sewage also. So some people, they like to build a toilet, but it is very expensive. First of all, you have to dig a ground, put the tank, and then you have to connect the sewage to the tank where all the shit, they collect the shit, and then the tractor will come and collect or suck up the shit to a tank, and then they will transport it to dispose it. So this costs money also, but to create that hole, to dig the hole and to put the tank and to connect the sewage is between 100 to 150,000 Swedish krona. So it's not cheap. Okay, over here you will see there is let's see if I can see. Oh, it's quite difficult to see. Okay, now see these houses here, the two houses here. This is a toilet and this is a bathroom. So the bathroom is outhouse. All right. I'm going to see if I can do like this too, so that I can have a connection, that I can show you how it look like. So these two, one is a bathroom, one is a toilet. So this is outhouse with just a pail where you have like a separate where you could pee and do the number two. So the number two, you have to dispose it. So there is two ways you can dispose it. Let me just flip the camera and explain to you what I mean, okay? So it is like, let me just give you an example, okay? This is the bowl for the number two. So there is a separate here where you could pee in at the front, and then you do the number two on this side. So usually it is a big tank. So I hope this is not so gross, huh? So what you do is that after every 1-2 months, you need to remove the shit, right? So some people, they buy this special kind of bucket, which is red in color. So they will buy from the government or the commune. So the commune will come and collect the bucket. And another way, I see some people do that, is that they find somewhere in the forest, they dig a hole, and then they just dump their shit there. Because most of the people here, when they go to the toilet, they don't use toilet paper to inside the bin. That means they don't throw toilet paper inside, because all this shit and the leaf that they use to cover the shit, it can be used as a nutrient for the soil. So you cannot sell it, but if you have a land where you need to plant potato, because that's what farmers do, they collect all this shit from the bio factory. There is a bio factory here where they convert all the old food or maybe the waste into biogas. So they use this biogas in cars, in machine, in creating electricity. So shit is very, very important. Huh? I'm just going to show you guys how this look like. Okay. Okay. Let me just show you. Nothing. And let me just show you the exterior of the house. Okay, I'm going out. You see, this is a mosquito net. Every summer house should have. Without this one, you see now even in now it's like middle of August, we still have mosquito. So having a mosquito net is really good. And I like this one. It has it's already seamed, so the magnet will not drop. Okay, let me just go out. Okay, I think it's better that I let you see how it is like outside, so I could explain better. Okay, now we are outside. So I hope I can give you guys a picture. Let me just show you this way instead. Okay. See, these are something that you can get for barbecue. So I actually didn't really invest a lot on the exterior part. So this ring, the barbecue ring, you can easily get them for 2,000 crown. Okay, let me just show you. You like the place? Very simple and pretty. Okay, you like it, huh? So here is my favorite place. There are houses. Okay, let me just do like that. Okay, I just show you. There are houses that are on the island. You see, these are houses on island. So Swede people, they like to buy houses on the island because they like to be alone. They don't want people to disturb them. So there are advantages and there are disadvantages. The disadvantage is that, you know, you can get really lonely unless that is really what you want. So like this house before, if I'm not wrong, it was sold at 68,000. The asking price was around 68,000 American dollars. But I think at the point of bid, I think it came up to around 78,000, which is almost every time is always higher. So these are houses that you can buy. Anyone can buy. If you can pay full, it's even better. Usually, you have to go through a bidding system to understand, but it is a very good way that you know, they have this system. As you see, these are the birch tree. Yeah, these are the birch tree. We removed quite a few before, so we have a few more which LG want to remove. And we must also think about, you cannot just remove them because there is a guideline. Like in front, just after this birch tree, the first tree birch tree here, it belongs to the commune. You see this stripe here? After that one, it belongs to the commune. So if you want to get rid of the tree here, you have to ask them for permission if you can remove them. It's the same here too. The limits here is up to the grass. After this limit, it belongs to the commune. So, which means to say, LG want to buy a land there because he doesn't want the commune to build another house or sell it to another person who want to invest. So he can actually ask the commune if he could buy the property there. Yes. This is still summer, going strong. It is raining here, Tommy. It's raining. I don't want to be alone like the house on the island. Yes, that is really true. It's true. You can get really lonely. This is the outhouse I was telling you about. So, and I will show you another house here. There are lots of outhouses here. There's one more outhouse here. This is where he kept his fishing rod and then some old furniture. And then you see there is some woods there he collect because last year he removed three trees. So he have plenty of wood. And there you have another storage because that one he used it like as a workplace. So usually you can get like a own loading bay where you could find a small boat where you could park your boat there. So all this is like a lot of things to think about because when you have a house like this, there are a limit. I'm going to go inside again because there are plenty of mosquito and it's biting me. Hey, I'm just coming in here and say, hello, Emma. So beautiful. Thank you for the information. I hope this is really helpful, because I really don't like people to be like thinking, oh, how nice. And then, a lot of people, they are very naive. When they buy a house, they don't think about so much things that you need to think about. So when you buy a summer house, for example, there are limited, there are restrictions. Like you cannot build the smaller house more than 170, like LG's case, because of the land and all that, they calculate, okay, now this house, this property, you can only build 170 square meters, which means to say you have to calculate all the other small property, like the storage place, and it mustn't exceed the 170. So for LG case, he has still about 100, no, I think he have about 80 square meter he could build, but he's not planning to do that because when you get old, you don't want to like work too much. This is enough for us, and I find that I'm really comfortable where we are now, that I have my own cottage where I can sleep without being how to say he snores, so I can't sleep with him. That's a shame, but life needs to be taking good care of your health, because without the sleep, your health is not going to get better, especially when you're growing older. You don't have enough sleep, that could be a problem. So I think this is very important information, and I hope you find this information useful. If you have any question, you can ask me now, or if you miss this live streaming, you can always send a question to me in the comment. I will always answer your questions, and if I don't have the answer, I'll try to find the answer for you. All right. Let me just give you a little bit updates on my channel and why I am taking such a long pause now. I've been sick, and I know that a lot of you guys has been asking me, when am I coming back to the channel again? As you can hear, my voice is not 100% how do you call that, recovered. I'm still maybe 10% to go. Okay, let me see. I'm still quite confused the step-by-step process in acquiring a house in Sweden. What is the first thing to do? A bank assessment or find a house first? Okay, I will answer that. I feel you. I can't either sleep when anyone is in the same room. Told me. I need certain condition to get sleep. Yeah, isn't it? It's very important. Okay, let me just answer J and D questions. Okay, you were asking about the step by step, right? Okay, I actually want to do this on my next live streaming, but I can quickly give you an tips. All right, how you can do that. Basically, there are two sites in the internet where you could check, but the site that I would strongly recommend is the site called Hemnet. It's spelled as, if you have a pen, HEMNET. All right. In this site, you can easily register and go in and tell them your interest, because there is like a box where you have to fill up the form and say, okay, I'm interested in Shalafdale, for example, and I'm interested in a villa, or I'm interested in a summer house, and how many bedroom do you want. So go into that site and check out the property available, for example, Shalafdale, and then you see the price. There will be a lot of houses that are for sale, but I tell you, these houses are not cheap. Prices here has gone crazy for the past 5 years, especially the last 3 years, because a lot of people from other country, they are moving here, and they came with a family. Those executive level employees, they came with their family, and therefore they need villas. So the best time to buy a property, the most peak time, is actually during the springtime. The springtime, I wouldn't recommend, because everybody is like looking at the same object, and of course the competition is higher, so you have to prepare to be in the competition. The best time to buy a property is during the winter. But the tricky part about buying houses during the winter is because every house is covered with snow. You don't have any clue how it looks like when the snow are gone, if there's any plantation, or how the garden look like, the ground. So all these are things that you have to think. And if possible, ask the agent. I'm sure the owner has pictures on like how the house look like during the summer. So you could actually ask the agent, if you're really interested in that property, ask them to show you pictures during the summer. Okay, this is first step, all right? You're saying that whether or not you should get the bank assessment first. Of course, the bank assessment has to come first. Without the bank assessment, you cannot find, because don't forget, all right, the day when you look at a house, okay, and usually it is like within 1 week, you have to bid for the house after the viewing, or maybe depending on whether the house already has viewing, or is that the final viewing. So you usually after that, it is like 7 to 10 days, the house is open for bidding. Anyone who is interested in buying the house will get into the bidding. And then before you do that, you want to make sure that your bank approve of your mortgage, or if you have the money to pay for the down payment. If I'm not wrong, it's like 10% to 15%, depending on your mortgage and also your income. So get that checked out and get that straightened out first before you go hunting for a property, because that is the most crucial. A lot of people, they make that mistake. They thought that, okay, since the asking price is so cheap, I have so much money, and then I go and bid. And then when you go and bid for that house, and then the banks, maybe the price, like Shalefta, is like going crazy. It can be, actually it's supposed to be like 2 million, right? So it can be up to 2.5 million. You never know. So I suggest go and check it out with the bank first. And then the step is like that. Check with the bank. When the banks say, okay, I can, with this job, with the job that you have, if you're working as a freelance or whatever, and then they want to have like your statement, how much you're earning. Is it a fixed income, or is it an investment? Or maybe you don't even need to take a loan. All right, check with the bank first. And when you get the green light from the bank, then you can go search for property, go for viewing. So I suggest that, you stay close to the places or the area that you are interested in buying. Write a list of the things that you need. Like, I want it to be close to city, to the shop, to the hospital, and write down the list. And then when you go into the handnet.sc, not .sc, the website. So you will see a map, right? A map on all those property that you are interested. I suggest don't go around. Don't. If you are interested in this area, just focus on this area and put yourself. There is an option where you should ask them to inform you or notify you when there are property that is according to your interest. That way you save a lot of time, because you don't have the time. If you're coming from abroad, a lot of Netherlands people from Germany, from Netherlands, from France, from England, they come here and they just drive around like crazy and search for the house. I don't think so that is the right way. I think you should decide, okay, let's say this is the type of house that I want. I want it to be close to the neighbor. If you are somebody who are from, let's say, Netherlands, if you're staying in a suburban place, and if you're used to like a calm place, and your objective is not like buying an off-grid, then just go to that area. Narrow down your expectation, but then still your needs has to come first, because needs is more important than expectation. Because if you have too high an expectation, you will never find a house that you need or can afford, because I think we have to be realistic here also, right? Okay, thank you for the tips. Okay, I hope that this is a really useful information, and I welcome all kinds of questions. And also the steps is, after the house it's like 7 days they open for bidding, right, for your interest, and then they will narrow down, because some people, they will drop out, they will say, oh, it's too expensive, then they will drop out. So usually it will comes to like a smaller and smaller group of people, usually maybe 20-30 people interested. And then because the prices keep increasing through the bidding, a lot of people will drop out, and then you become like the first 2-3 who are interested. So again, you have to compete with them. If this is something that you really want to buy and you really think that this is worth investing, I think you should go for it, if it is not like too high the price. Housing market is different part of Sweden. Yes, it is like night and day. In Stockholm, it's like fighting with the boots, the butts. Built, you mean, in the North Sweden is pretty relaxed. You are quite true. It's true. Of course, Stockholm is a bigger city, so it's more people. The competition is like more intense, But in Skellefteå, we are also in that situation because of the Norrvård of the factory. We are even more competitive. Sometimes we have property agent. I spoke to one of them, and they were telling me, they said that it is crazy. It just gets snapped, and people really, people who come here and stay, for those who work in the Norrvård, I can be very honest with you. I have found out that a lot of people, after moving here in Skellefteå for 2-3 years, working and staying here, they end up going back. And the reason is why they find that the way of Swedish people, I'm not saying that they're not friendly, I'm saying that they are really difficult to be friend with. So Swedish people are really nice people, but when they are socializing, they prefer to socialize with their classmates, with their family, because they work really hard and they don't have a lot of extra time. And even with extra time, they want to do something that they really love and enjoy. So the time is limited. So I think a lot of expat here has an issue getting Swedish friend, which is a pity. And they find it's really difficult to adjust, because Skellefteå is a small city. Even though we are in the process of developing. For me, someone from Singapore, I'm used to like just put on my shoe and just go out with my shorts and t-shirt, and I could just do anything. I can go to the karaoke, I can go to shopping in the night time after 8 o'clock because our shop closed at 10 o'clock, and we could go for, a cafe, just hang out in the park. You can do all this at a very affordable price. But in Sweden, it's very expensive. If you were to bring a family out with two kids and a child and a wife to go out for a meal, you should be prepared to pay like at least 500 and above. Even though you're going to Max or McDonald's, just for a simple meal. So, which is really, really expensive. And a lot of people, they wanted to go back to their country is because they find that it is very difficult to learn the language, or it's very difficult to get to know people, neighbors, the culture, and somehow they feel really lonely and feel isolated. I think that is the case because we have a Facebook group here. It's called Expat and Friends. And there are people who are selling their stuff away after staying here for like 2 years, some even 1 year. And they say that the reason why they move is because they find that, it is not the kind of lifestyle that they would expect. For me, I prefer to stay here compared to Singapore. It's because Singapore is a very big city and I'm not used to the noise and the temperature. So I choose to stay here because I prefer a very calm life. I don't feel so much stress, and also people are nice. If you are open and you are accepting, it shouldn't be any problem. You just need to learn the culture. Go and join the group, like a group for certain interests, because by going to places where you meet the people with the same interest, they are more likely to open to you. And I think for kids also it's not a big problem because Swedish way the system is a little bit conservative, but then it's they encourage people not to be racist, and also they are very accepting because they know that they must accept people from abroad and help them to integrate, which I find that maybe we need a little bit of help also to push up the system so that we could easily adapt. For me, it took years to adapt. So I'm right now, after 26 years, I'm beginning to feel like, okay, I can do that. I just didn't have the chance to do that, and I do not know how to do that. So now that I know, join clubs. Okay, many Finns bought cheap house near the border of Sweden. Okay, Swedish people are effective. They don't waste time for small talks. That's true. They don't waste time on small talk. But many people buy cheap house along the border. I don't know. I don't know it's the case on other area because I only live in Umeå and Skellefteå so far, so I don't have knowledge about the price in maybe the south of Umeå. But I would think that the higher it go on the north side of Sweden, the cheaper the house. That is why I saw a lot of Netherlands people, they were like driving up to north of Sweden and they found really a lot of very cheap houses there. And the one thing that I noticed is that some of them, they buy it. Here's the thing. If you buy a house and you have the intention to stay there and taking care of the house, it is another thing. I've seen people who buy houses here because it's cheap, like 7,000 here, 10,000 here. I'm going to buy both property. But remember, all this property need a fixer up, because if you cannot fix up the property, and you just intend to stay there just because you pass by, or you want to stay in Sweden for 1 or 2 weeks and then you go back to your country, or you go to the other property, I think this is not the right intention, because all these houses, if you don't fix them within 10 years, they are going to kaput. All right, they're going to just, we call it fallaise, so like falling apart. That is why the owner can't do that. So they have to sell the house at a really good price, hoping that people will take care of the house and maybe do upgrade the house. And if you don't have that intention, if you just want to stay here in that condition, by all means do that. But I felt like this because there are a lot of people who want to maybe buy the same house and couldn't find the house and they don't have places to stay. I think we should give chance to those people who are in that situation, right? Than to buy plenty of houses and then just leave it to rots. I don't think that, so that is a really good way to, like, you know, just buy it for the sake that this is cheap and you're not using it and you're not making the full use of it. True, to me, So I think this is what I personally feel. I feel like if you have to like buy a off-grid house, I think you must first understand your own intention. If your intention is to create a new lifestyle here in Sweden, or to, you know, just relax, so you really have to be sure what you are after. Because a lot of people, they came here to work and they move out, you know, like 2-3 years later, they couldn't get used to the lifestyle. And if you are the person who are the lonely type that want to stay out of a crowd and want just be alone, then maybe Sweden could be a dream home for you, that you could spend your life, remaining life here, building a nice place for your own needs and affordable. So I think you could consider getting a property. All right, any more questions? I hope I can answer more questions. Let me just go through any question before. Hello. Oh, wow, that's a lot of response. Okay, if you have no more question, I'm going to stop my live streaming, give you guys a quick update on my channel. I have been sick and now I'm back and I feel like I'm alive again, and I hope that I can just get rid of this throat. You know, I'm still coughing. Lucky I'm not doing this on this live streaming, but I can feel like when I talk too long, I feel that I'm losing my voice again. I will be doing more live streaming because that is the only thing that I am able to do now. Making video can be something for the winter. And also right now I'm also working. There are a lot of companies that contact me recently that they want to collaborate with me. I think I have like 50 company. So far I only work with one company because I just felt like I need to be choosing the right type of company to work with that goes along with my my kind of content. So I don't, of course I welcome company that has the same goal as me, is to help people to like think otherwise, making life easier. Is this a life for you in Sweden or not? And also some of the things that I like to share my experience using or maybe eating. So I hope this is a channel that you find useful, and if you do, I would very much like you to share my channel with anyone whom you think might find my content interesting. All right, so let's close this, and I look forward to meeting you again. I hope I can do a live streaming like every Sunday at this time, because during this time everybody is like moving out of the summer area because people are getting back to work. So during some day, people are moving away. So this is a really calm time because nobody will come, because like staying in summer house, like it's like a kampong, you know, during the old time. You cannot say, okay, you cannot come visit me, because some people, they just pop in and then say, how are you? You know, they're really, really sweet. So Sunday, usually this doesn't happen. So I hope I can do live streaming on every Sunday and catch up with you guys. So let's see, okay? Happy late summer. Keep the summer sunny attitude. Yeah! Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, everyone, for joining me this live streaming. I hope you have a great Sunday, and I'll see you on my next Sunday. Let's see if I can. I'm going to request for some topics that you like to watch, and you can also put them in the comment what you need to know more, and I'll try myself to help. See you guys. Bye bye.